Bible story. The man who could not move. Click, click. A little rock fell on the stone porch by the pool of water. A very tired, crippled man was sleeping by the pool. He was lying on an old blanket. Suddenly, he opened his eyes. "What is that noise?" thought the crippled man. He was wide awake now. The crippled man looked around the pool. He shook his head. "Just as I thought," the crippled man said to himself. "People are still coming to the pool. It will soon be very crowded." For many, many years he had laid by this pool, the pool of Bethesda. Each day he had quietly watched blind men stumble down to the pool and sit down. Time after time he had seen mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers carry a sick family member to the edge of the pool. Sometimes something very wonderful happened. An angel would come suddenly to the pool of Bethesda. Then, while lame people watched with wide eyes or blind men listened, the angel would stir up the water. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers would quickly try to help their sick loved one to be first into the pool. The first person into the pool would be healed, made well. "Even when the angel comes," thought the crippled man, "I cannot reach the pool." The tired, crippled man looked at the clouds as he thought, "Why, no one cares if I ever walk. No one cares if I ever run or skip. No one cares if I am able to ride a mule or a camel." The crippled man blinked his eyes. "Why, the angel may not even care about me," he thought. "I am just a tired, crippled man who cannot move. Does anyone love me?" The poor crippled man closed his eyes tightly. A tear trickled down his cheek. As the crippled man lay by the pool of Bethesda, a kind man walked by. The kind man looked like a very special man. The kind man saw the tired, crippled man lying by the pool. The kind man saw the crippled man there on his blanket. The kind man knew that the poor, crippled man had lain by the pool for years and years. The kind man walked up to the crippled man and asked, "Would you like to be made well?" The tired, crippled man opened his eyes with surprise. "Sir," said the crippled man, "when the angel comes to the pool, I cannot get in. I have no one to help me." The crippled man stopped talking. He looked deep into the eyes of the kind man. Would this kind man laugh at him? Would this kind man understand and try to help him when the angel stirred the water? The kind man smiled and looked at the tired, crippled man. The kind man said, "Rise, pick up your blanket and walk." When the kind man spoke, the crippled man suddenly felt different. Why, he was not tired anymore. The crippled man stood up. He reached down for his blanket. He could move. The crippled man picked up his blanket and walked. 1, 2, 3 steps. 4, 5, 6 steps. He began to skip and run. He laughed as he held his blanket. He stood tall as he walked around the pool. The tired, crippled man was not tired or crippled any longer. He was a healed man. The healed man looked around to see the kind man who had made him well. People walked by the healed man. Some walked fast and some walked slowly. There were people everywhere. Yet the kind man who made the healed man walk was gone. Then the healed man thought of something. He would go to the temple and thank God. Only God had power to make crippled people walk. The healed man climbed the temple steps. It felt good to lift his legs at each step. He knew what it was like to stand on his feet and walk after lying still for years. The healed man smiled. At the temple, the healed man found the kind man who had made him well. "You can walk. You are made whole," the kind man said. He looked into the happy eyes of the healed man. "It is sad not to be able to walk, but it is worse to sin and do wrong things." The healed man held tightly to his blanket and listened. He listened carefully to the kind man who had made him well. A warm smile came to the healed man's lips, for he now knew that this kind man was God's son Jesus. The healed man was so glad that Jesus, God's son, could take away sin and sickness.